Jiao Christine.
Ni hao, wo jiao, Charleston. In today's episode,
We are going to tackle about the educational system of China. The People's Republic of China was founded in 1949. It is an area of 9.6 million kilometers squared with two-thirds of the country covered by hilllands and hill regions. A region by geographical and cultural diversity. China's population in 2005 was 1.3 billion. Over the last decade, China has seen accelerated urbanization, but the majority of the population remained in rural areas, about 56% in 2006. Official data identifies 56 ethnic groups, but one group, Han, accounts for 90% of the population.
education has been highly valued in China since classical times. Traditional Chinese philosophy emphasizes education above other values. This focus on learning continues to be important in Chinese society today. A high standard of education is associated with higher social status, and the vast majority of parents have high expectations for the educational achievement of their children.
This, together with the introduction of the one-child policy, leads to parents making great sacrifices in order to ensure that their children receive the best possible education. Parents and entire families place their hopes in the educational success of their single offspring. The children are aware, perhaps too aware, of their responsibility in their schools and the importance placed in their educational achievements.
Almost after 40 years after the founding of the People's Republic, a policy of reform was adopted, opening China to the outside world. With it, education entered a new era. The 1986 Compulsory Education Law was a major initiative aiming to decentralize control of education and enroll millions of children not attending school at the time. These children included those in rural areas, girls, and those from minority ethnic groups. The act guaranteed the right for at least 9 years of education for all school-age children and placed the management of primary and lower secondary schools at district or country level.
China describes its education system as having four components: the basic education, occupational education, higher education, and the adult education. Basic education comprises preschool education, 6 years of primary schooling, 3 years of junior secondary schooling, and then another 3 years for senior secondary schooling. The numbers involved are huge. 192 million children are enrolled in over 400,000 primary and secondary schools with 10 million teachers. Preschool education is becoming increasingly important in China. In urban areas, preschool education is mainly provided through kindergartens. It may last 1, 2, or 3 years and may be full-time, part-time, boarding, or on an hour-reckoned basis. In recent years, there has been a focus on preschool education in rural areas, particularly those that are remote, poor, or with a large ethnic minority population. Here, preschool education is mainly nursery classes with additional seasonal kindergarten, but other types of provision including playgroups, mobile centers, and mobile services called caravans can be found.
Basic education comprises of preschool education, primary, junior, and senior middle schooling. Some argue that basic education should be the key and compulsory education covering primary and junior middle schooling duration. The development of primary education in China covered the last 60 years has been a formidable achievement. In 1949, enrollment rates were around 20% of school-age children. Today, they have reached over 90%. Each child reaching the age of 6 is required to enter primary school. Just occasionally, this may be postponed to 7
if a school place is not available. At the end of their 6 years of primary schooling, children pass automatically to nearby junior secondary school. At the end of their junior secondary education, pupils must sit and pass an entrance exam to continue to senior secondary school. Those pupils who wish to continue their education but do not pass the exam for the senior secondary school are able to continue their education at the vocational school. Primary education curriculum consists of Chinese, mathematics, physical education, music, basic science, history, and geography, combined with practical work experience around school campus. All primary schools are required to offer courses on morality and ethics, and English is often introduced in grade 4. The content of curriculum relates to daily experience, social development. The content of the curriculum relates daily experience, social development, and technological innovation. It is based on the 4 pillars of learning: learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. At the secondary level, the academic curriculum includes Chinese, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, geology, English, history, geography, politics, music, fine arts, and physical education. Some junior secondary schools also offer vocational subjects. At the end of senior secondary schooling, pupils who wish to go to university need to sit the National College Entrance Examination. This usually takes place in June. Over 3 days, pupils experience an intensely grueling and stressful experience. Over 8 million pupils compete for places at prestigious universities, but only 40%, so psychological pressures on pupils and parents are immense.
Occupational education in China. This category consists of medium-level professional schools, polytechnic schools, occupational middle schools, as well as various short-term occupational and technical training programs.
Since the 1980s, China's occupational and polytechnic education has experienced rapid development. In 1997, there were 33,464 occupational and polytechnic schools nationwide with an enrollment of 18.6 million. The same year, there were more than 2,100 training schools training about 1 million students per year. The proportion of enrollment of high school equivalent occupational and polytechnic schools increased from 18.9% in 1980 to 56.47% in 1999. In 1999, there were 3,962 secondary technical schools nationwide. And the number of those enrolled in finance and economics, sports, and arts programs increased steadily, while the enrolling in technical subjects gradually decreased. In 1999, there were 8,317 vocational senior middle schools nationwide with enrollment reaching 4,438,400 and 4,098 polytechnic schools with an enrollment of 1,560,500. And the number of those enrolled in finance and economics, sports, and arts programs increased steadily, while the enrolling in technical subjects gradually decreased. In 1999, there were 8,317 vocational senior middle schools nationwide with enrollment reaching 4,438,400 and 4,098 polytechnic schools with an enrollment of 1,560,500.
Common higher education in China consists of junior college and university bachelor, master's, and doctoral degree programs. The junior college programs usually last 2 to 3 years. The bachelor programs last 4 years, and medical and some engineering and technical programs take 5 years. The master programs takes 2 to 3 years, and doctoral program requires 3 years. Since 1949, China has made significant achievements in higher education. In 1999, there were 1,071 common colleges and universities countrywide. From 1979 to 1997, of 829,000 programs at these colleges and universities, 2.58 times in total in the 3 decades prior to 1979. From 1981 to 1996, colleges, universities, and scientific research institutions nationwide granted doctoral degrees to 20,514 students and 285,943 master degrees. There has been an increase in students specializing in bachelor and junior college programs in finance and economics, politics, law, sports, and arts, and a slight decline in admissions in science and engineering. These colleges and universities includes more than 3,400 research institutions approved by the authorities, 150 state-level key labs and specialized labs. About 50% of the award-winning natural science projects in China were completed at these colleges and universities, which directed or implemented nearly 60% of the 8-5-year plan adult education.
China's adult education has evolved rapidly since the establishment of the People's Republic in 1999. There were 871 colleges focusing on adult education programs. Adult education aimed at the country's rural population and has made significant contributions to rural development, with more than 200 million farmers receiving training in these educational institutions. Self-taught higher education examination programs also became increasingly popular, with 224 disciplines available in 1998. In the same year, about 134,200 anti-illiteracy programs were launched nationwide, assisting 3.2 million illiterate people.